everyone. I'm Olivia, and I'm a student at the University of Florida, and I work with trubel&co on educational programs. So I'm passionate about building community resilience through a combination of education, art, and data.
She's a great artist. Hi, y'all. I'm Joan. I'm the Associate Director of Programs at trubel&co. I care deeply about mutual aid and creative community and using creativity to connect with others. So we work for trubel&co. Trubel&co is an organization that sits in the middle of social responsibility, environmental responsibility, and tech. So we're not just using the technology to continue on. It's how do we fuse these two to create a brand new future, a future that includes all of us, and that makes us responsible innovators. So we specifically teach our students how to use GIS, Geographic Information Systems. I know all of you nerds know this. And this grounds data and stories, qualitative and quantitative data, in place. There's a reason why we ask, where are you from? And maps are have incredible power, but they're not like objective truth. They are decisions. So we know about this decision, and all of these decisions tell us about who in power was in the room when a decision was made, what a place is named, and why, and the stories of the folks in that room and in that space. So we teach our students technical proficiency with GIS, critical consciousness to have these complicated stories of how did we arrive here, and yeah.
Yeah, so here's an example of a project students participating in programs I've worked on, analyzing how hurricanes impact low-income Floridians. And here's another project showing analyzing environmental risk and poverty in Hawaii. And data literacy is central to our programs because students bring such creative ideas to communicate data about where problems are and why they're important locally. And here's another example where students from Miami mapped out disparities in tree cover, and they interviewed a neighbor who shared a firsthand recount of how they were living out these disparities.
So to not show my millennialness, we're gonna practice this by defining our community. Is this an in-person community? Does our community look like us? Who is involved in the community? Who's included and excluded? Because both of those are very important. So now, based on this community, what problem do you wanna solve, right? Does everyone in the community agree that this is a problem? Does everyone in the community want this problem to be solved? And based on that, what information do you need? Right? What data do you need? Maybe that information exists in the census or all of these data sources that may or may not exist to the public now. And based on that data, do you need to collect data? Do you need to collect stories like our student did by interviewing neighbors? Based on that information and a little bit of finagling and a lot of cussing at ArcGIS, you might need to decide what you want to do with that data story. Do you want to raise awareness through pamphlets, through hopping on TikTok, or do you need to go talk to city council? A great example of using geospatial knowledge and information is a community mapping resource. So in New Orleans last month and continued, there is a lack of access to quality foods and consistent foods, so that was an example of someone mapping.
Another example is mapping for disaster response. So I was born here in New Orleans just a few months before Hurricane Katrina hit. And that led me to join Team Rubicon, where we use GIS maps to help coordinate aid after disasters. And so there's a massive amount of data in the world today. And to make sense of it all, we can map it. And especially, we can empower youth to bring the data and bring their own perspectives to it. And once we map things, hidden insights and connections emerge, and we can especially are able to connect data with actions that we can take now.
Yeah. And like Olivia said, ultimately it's about connecting stories and data to place. And so whether these are stories about housing and gentrification, or voting rights, or food justice and access, all of these stories lead us to make movements in ways that we care. So to wrap it up with Miriam Kaba, who is an abolitionist that we really turn to, changing everything might sound daunting, but it also means that there are many places to start, infinite opportunities to collaborate, and endless imaginative interventions and experiments to create. All of you in your variety of communities convening here in New Orleans bring your own brilliance, talent, and connections to this space. So we're excited for y'all to go out and be troublemakers all over. Thank you.